oh, look at me, I have a Herman Miller chair, it costs $2,000. Yeah? Does your chair have automated lumbar position tracking? Does it have a massager? Does it have ventilated and heated seats? No? Yeah, that's what I thought.
But is it a good chair?
You know, it's just, you know, like and subscribe, you know, shoot. The Hbada X7 has the most gimmicky features I've seen on any chair, but I was shook at it with how good those gimmicky features work. But I think it fails in its most basic function of being a good chair. Let's get honest. Links to everything will be in the description below, as well as tagged in the YouTube shop. Using them costs you nothing, but it helps keep these honest reviews going, and I really appreciate your support. As always, I'll break down the chair starting from the bottom, working my way up, and I'll give you my thoughts on each piece. So starting with the legs and casters. The casters on this chair roll okay on carpet and on hard floor as well. It's not so bad. It doesn't have the most amount of roll in the world, which is good when it comes to hard floor, that way you're not flying everywhere. The legs on this chair are made out of metal, and they're a little bit rounded, a little thin, and the front comes out too far that your legs will never be able to rest on the feet, so just something to keep in mind. And also, I don't love that for a chair this expensive, I had to assemble the legs on this chair. Every single spoke is individual, and I have to literally screw them in. I don't love that. It's additional time, assembly time, and for a chair that costs this much, I don't think you should be doing that. Moving up to the footrest, this thing comes out really nicely. It swings upwards like this, and it's got a really soft, really dense cushioning pad here, which is nice because for most people, when you rest your legs on it, it's not gonna be your feet or your shoes or whatever you're wearing that rest on it. It's gonna be your calves. And so if you're wearing shorts like me, this is really well appreciated. It's soft, really nice. The only thing is I wish the edges had a little bit more cushioning because it does get scratchy at the edges there. Also, this thing has a decent amount of lubrication. Comes out nicely like that. All right, let me stop doing that motion. And then if you turn it around like this, you can push it in, and what's nice is you hear a tiny click, and that's gonna hold that in place so that when you pull it out, it requires a little extra pull. Without it, if you were to spin your chair around like this, that footrest would pop out. You see this in other chairs with footrests, and basically it's gonna smack you in the shins, or you're gonna be playing the most expensive game of Skip It. With the Hbada X7, I'm happy to announce that it doesn't do that. When it comes to the features under the chair, you literally get one control center, and it's this tab here. And this tab can move into 3 different positions. You can have it in the back, in the middle, or forward. So let's start with the furthest back here. This is going to unlock the seat tilt. So it's gonna allow you to tilt all the way back, and you do get to go pretty far back on this thing. I'll talk about this later, but the tilt experience in this chair is pretty terrible. One I'll talk about in this section, and one I'll talk about later in the lumbar section. So this is able to go back like this, and this chair has a tilt lock. And so the way you engage that lock is that you go back, and then you can go ahead and move this tab into any other position. So I'm gonna move into middle, and you're gonna see that it's gonna lock in that reclined position. So that's really nice. Something to note though is that this chair uses what they call a self-adjusting tilt, which means that the amount of pressure that you put on it, it's supposed to hold you in that position. And there's no tension tightener knob under the chair on the side, anything like that, to tighten the tension that makes it difficult or more easy to tilt. And I will say that this is the worst self-adjusting tilt I've ever experienced on any chair. A lot of them, even the cheap ones, are pretty good in that if you were to put a little bit of tension, it's supposed to hold you there like a floating sensation. You're not supposed to engage your core. But right now I can tell you that I'm engaging my core a lot because this tension is so loose that you're just gonna end up going all the way back. It's not great, and I think it has to do with the fact that the backrest is so heavy because of all those electronics and gimmicks. And because of that, as soon as you tilt back a little bit, you're gonna go back all the way. There's no stopping this. There's no holding it. The tilt lock can help if you want to tilt and hold yourself in that position. But yeah, in terms of adjusting that tension to get it just right the way you want it, it's not happening on this chair. If you move this tab to the center position and pull it upwards, this is gonna be your height adjustment. Now, you can see that this chair doesn't get very high at all. And in the lowest setting, it's perfect for me being 5'6". And this part is a little bit confusing because everything on this chair seems to be built for tall and bigger folks. The backrest can adjust upwards, the lumbar can adjust upwards, but the fact that this chair only goes yay high means it's not gonna be great for my tall friends, for my daddy long legs, mommy long legs. That was weird. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, it's not gonna be great for the super tall folks. So it's like a walking contradiction, or chairing contradiction, sitting? I don't know what it's a contradiction. Doesn't make a lot of sense. To make it super clear why tall people, long-legged people might not like this is because there's not a lot of height here, which means your legs cannot sit at this 90-degree angle here. Instead, your legs are probably gonna be more like this, which is not ergonomically sound. And finally, when I move this tab to the most forward position, it's gonna allow me to control the seat depth here, and to lock it in place, I just move it to a different position like that. And I'm happy to say that in the furthest out position, when I'm scooched all the way back in the chair, and even when I tilt back in the chair, I don't feel any kind of hard edge on the back, which happens a lot in mesh chairs where the seat pan extends. And I don't feel any kind of seat gap back here, even when I lean back. So this is a huge plus, but again, very confusing because again, for my daddy and mommy long legs out there, this could have been great, but the fact that this chair doesn't go very high, again, it makes it a contradiction. Under this tab mechanism is a drawer here, and if you pull this out, it actually carries the battery, the rechargeable battery, that powers all the gimmicky stuff, AKA the most interesting stuff about this chair. So you go ahead and just slide that back in here like this. Over on the left side, you get this remote control here, and it's tethered with a nice stretchy cable so that you can pull it to you, you can move around with it. It's not like a fixed length, which is nice. And my favorite feature is that when you hit the power button, you're gonna see a like and subscribe button, which you should definitely click and do. And let me know which of the features of this chair you would love to see in your chair, or do you think they're all gimmicks? In all seriousness, when you hit the power button, you turn the chair on. No, not like that. And then on the top left, you can scroll between a manual lumbar support and a smart automated lumbar position tracking. Let's talk about the manual first because it's the most clear and obvious what it does. So this lumbar support here, you can only manually move it up and down to adjust, but you can't move the in and out apart from the remote control. It has to be done via motor through the remote. And it's really self-explanatory. You hold the front to make it more aggressive and push it back if you want it less aggressive. And this thing comes out really, really, really far because I think it's designed for people. I talked to people like this. UA in the Libernova video, he was like this, where he basically said when he sits to work in his chair, he actually moves a little bit forward or backrest, back off the backrest. And because of that, this lumbar support can come out and meet you there so you're able to get lower back support when you're further up in your chair doing work like this. Now, you can imagine why this thing would get annoying though, because you would have to pull the lumbar back in every single time you want to sit back in the chair, like with your back touching the backrest, and you'd have to manually bring it out anytime you want to bring it out. But that's the thing. That's so 2024. We're in 2025, baby. And because of that, we have the automated lumbar position tracking that this chair offers. Now, this thing is going to be a little bit confusing to explain, but let me first explain by telling you what it's not. A lot of chairs as of late have used this kind of like spring tension lumbar adjustment system, where basically the amount of pressure you put on the lumbar system, that because it's spring based, it's going to push in more, and if you come out more, then it's going to come out more, right? This is not that. This is a motor that's literally designed to detect how much pressure you're putting on that lumbar support, and it's going to move in or out depending on the sensitivity level that you set on it. So basically, when you activate it, what's going to happen is that you can change the sensitivity. I'll get to that in just a minute. But basically, if I'm sitting all the way back in the chair like this, it's able to say, okay, Dan's putting pressure on me here, but let's say I move forward in the chair because I'm a forward sitter like this. If I do this, well, then the lumbar support is gonna keep coming out until it detects and it's touching, and it's gonna like, oh, I found somebody, right? And obviously there's gonna be a limit. It's not gonna come out all the way to here, for example. It's gonna come out to the maximum limit that you have in the manual adjustment as well. But this is where the sensitivity matters, because if I have it in the lowest sensitivity and I'm sitting more forward, upright in my chair like this, the moment I make contact with it, it's gonna go, I'm being touched, and it's gonna start to shrink back, which means you're getting no lower back support at all, because the moment you put any pressure on it, it's gonna start to shrink back, and you're gonna end up curling your back instead of being supported like this. So that's where the sensitivity comes into play, and you can increase the sensitivity so that if you put a good amount of pressure on it, it's gonna go, no, this is how much pressure he wants to put on it, we should stay put. And then when I really start to push down on it, then it'll go, all right, now it's time to shrink back, fellas, let's get back there, okay? So that's kind of how that sensitivity thing works. And again, it works shockingly well. To be very clear, I don't think this is a feature I would ever need in any chair, but I am very impressed with how well it works. This chair also has a massage feature, and it is the first chair that I've ever tested that actually uses kneading massage balls that actually move in a circle and actually massage you. Compared to many, many other chairs that claim to have a massage feature, those things literally have this small vibrator in it that just rumbles. That's literally all it is. But this one actually has those kneading balls, and you get low, medium, or high intensity. And I will say that the high intensity is not all that intense. For me, I kind of like it rough, in a massage chair, like, But this one, the high feels pretty modest. This thing also has ventilated seats. It's only the seat, not the backrest. And this thing moves serious air. Even at the low, I can feel the air through my pants. And at the high, I am legitimately cold. I mean, it is moving serious amounts of air here. When it comes to the heated seats, it's not quite accurate because the seat doesn't get heated, nor does the backrest. It's really only the lumbar pad down here, and the only parts that actually heat up are gonna be this foamed side bolster cushioned area here on either side. This is what's going to heat up and transfer that heat. They claim that there's like a red light, infrared therapy happening from this mesh area. I don't know if that's marketing fluff, but it does get red. So I do find that this decision is a little bit weird though, because whenever I sit in a chair, the parts that might get cold are gonna be like my legs or my arms or my back, like upper back, the parts that are making the least amount of contact with the chair. But because my lower back is making the most amount of contact, when this thing heats up, I can already feel it now, like my lower back is just sweating. So I wish they would have had like heat and blow up just like they would with the ventilated part. But anyways, you get 3 levels of heat, low, medium, and high. It gets hot really, really fast, and it gets pretty darn warm. Again, at the highest heat, I am sweating a little bit in just that area. Something to keep in mind is that the remote screen is pretty cheap. I thought there was some kind of like mark there, so I went to go wipe it off, and when I did that, I actually left another scratch. So it ended up being a scratch, and I scratched on top of that scratch. So yeah, don't touch the screen. Duh. Moving up now to the seat. The mesh on this chair actually feels really good. It feels better than the E3 Pro that I have from Hbada. So I do think this mesh feels better than that. Forward and back, it is a little bit scratchier. Again, I think it's supposed to add additional grip with these little like circle-y shapes so that if you're wearing very slippery pants, sexier pants, you know, if you're wearing those, it's gonna be hard for you to slide out of the chair, which is really nice. In terms of the shape, I like the shape when you sit in it, but the sides are a little bit aggressively curved upwards, not nearly as much as like an Aeron side bolster, but it is pretty aggressively side curved up, which means that it's terrible for single leg or double leg tuckers because as soon as you do this, your ankle is going to be pushed upwards like this. And again, with hard edges, it's really hard to single or double leg tuck anyway because you're going to feel that on your ankles. And in terms of if you're a spreader, this seat isn't all that wide. So I don't think it's going to be great for like the big, you know, bulbous thigh friends, or for people who are serious spreaders. Like this is about as far as I can go before I start to feel those hard edges on my thighs. In terms of seat, I don't really have any complaints. It's basically everything from here on up that I have serious complaints with. Moving up now to the armrests. These armrests are bad, but first let me just explain their functionality. So these things can move up and down like this. The trigger button is in the front here, so it moves up and down like this. Then this armrest is able to move forward and back like that. It's got a really good amount of range. Then it's able to move in and out, but not in a way that you would normally think. So this thing actually can move in and out in almost like an infinite-like position, because not only does the top part of the actual armrest move and swing in 360, it can do 360 like this, but also the bottom part can actually swing 360 too. So you can imagine, well, it's limited by this bolster, but you can see that it can pretty much go any which way. So this thing can be put into pretty much any position you want it, which seems like a really good thing. I'll talk about why it's not in a minute. And then this armrest can actually click up twice to get into more of an angle position, which is okay if you want to, you know, be reading an iPad or looking on your phone or something like that. This padding is really bad. It's flat overall, but it's really, really stiff, right? It doesn't feel that good on your elbows. Just, yeah, it's just really, really firm here. The reason why I think this is bad is because they just don't go that low. So here I am at a desk right here like this, and you can see that when I kind of move into the desk, you can see that it's not really able to get under that, but it is able to pull back, which is nice, so that if I can actually get closer to the keyboard, and if you really want to get super close, you can actually turn the thing around. So you can actually have these things completely out of the way, and now you can get all the way up, feel that desk all the way up inside of that love handle, you know, just like this. So you can get really, really close, but you can see that I'm basically losing arm support at this point. I have to kind of adjust it to get it up, to get my, if you are an elbow rester when you type, you can do that if you wanted to, but it's just kind of annoying to get it there. Another reason why I don't think it's great is these things move out of position really, really easily. Like look how easy this thing is to move around. And because this can be put in a million positions, it means you can put it out of position in a million different positions. Like if it had a limit of here and here, then you just have to move it to there if you had it there, or you move it to here. But this, it's like, it can be moved all the way out to here, and now you're like, I don't remember how the hell I had my armrest, right? So it's just really annoying, but also I think it can verge into the area of dangerous, because it's pretty confusing what position or what's going on with the armrest or how you have them. But let's say you have the armrest like this, where it's turned around. I know a lot of people like to push down on their armrest to adjust or readjust themselves in the chair, but if you have it this way without realizing it, you can push down and you can see that these things are immediately gonna collapse because you have the arm backwards. And if you do this, I can imagine some people are gonna hurt their wrist by accident when you push down thinking it's gonna hold you like this, right? And then also, if it's in the other position, the normal, quote unquote, normal position, I imagine that some people actually, when you're standing, sometimes you rest your arms on the armrest, right? This is not an unfeasible like reality where you kind of hold like this, but in this one, if you ever hold in the back, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not exaggerating. This actually goes pretty low. And you could find that, like, again, if your wrist isn't ready for it, it's a sensitive area, that you could find your like wrist actually kind of hurting because of that. So something to keep in mind. Moving up now to the lumbar support. I already showed earlier with the remote how you can move it in or out, but you can actually move this thing up and down as well. You have to grab the thing and pull it up, and you get 4 different levels, 3, 4, and then at the 5th one, when you get it all the way up, it drops all the way back down to the lowest level. Now, there are 2 big cons with this lumbar support. The first one is gonna be the fact that whenever you're kind of sitting in the chair or even slightly tilted back in the chair, you see these wings right here, this top of plastic here, you'll never not feel them. So if you're sitting back in your chair with your arms like this, and this is kind of how I would normally sit, these things are digging into my elbows like this. You just never get rid of them. You're just never not there. And then if you're at a desk like this and you tilt back at all, this gets even more pronounced. Now it's on the more sensitive side of inside of that bicep. I mean, my biceps are buff. I mean, yours probably sensitive, so you know. So like, you know, but when you do that, now they're all up in that bicep area, and you can see that they're just never out of the way. So if you ever have your arms here, like now it's on the back of the tricep area, so it's just always making contact with something. Gets kind of annoying. But the second biggest con is that this lumbar support, the way it's designed, doesn't matter what position it's in, doesn't matter how high, how low, doesn't matter. When you tilt back in it, this lumbar position does not fit into the lower back position in a tilted back position. It feels out of place, it feels uncomfortable, doesn't match my back shape. I don't think it's gonna match anybody's back shape. And again, another contradiction here because this thing was made for lounging. I mean, think about it. It's got this footrest here that's actually pretty good, this headrest, which is not bad either, the really far tilt back, but then this lumbar support just digs into this weird place and doesn't feel great. Moving up now to the backrest, the mesh here is the same found on the seat. Oh, so is the lumbar's mesh too, but this mesh here is the same found on the seat, feels pretty high quality. It's got that anti-slip feel, so you're not gonna be slipping and sliding around inside of it. And the tension here, again, is really nice. Now, something that's weird about this top backrest though is that the bottom part, actually, maybe I should stand out. The bottom part, you can see that it actually kind of flexes and moves with you a little bit. This backrest is stiff. Look, this thing doesn't move whatsoever. So it's a really odd, kind of confusing experience when you're able to move that lower back like this, but your upper back is just really like, you just feel kind of locked in place like that. So that is kind of an unusual decision here. So hoping that backrest would move a little bit with you, kind of turn with you as you move. Because when you do move inside of it, let's say you're kind of sitting like this, well, because of the way that this back top bends in, it's kind of digging into that muscle there. Kind of like, you know, you're just talking to a friend, you know, leaning on the side like this, it starts to dig into that muscle, to that bone in the back shoulder area. The backrest can be adjusted higher up if you're taller. So you can go 6 clicks. Like that. If you want to bring it down, you go all the way up, bringing it down. So this chair, again, could have been a good experience for tall people because you have that adjustment, but because of the low overall seat height, makes it a confusing experience for tall people. This headrest is really annoying to adjust. I've been trying to review it for the past 10 minutes. My videographer can attest to this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy crap, this thing is so annoying. All right. We've been trying to play around with it, but it won't do what I wanted to do. So anyways, this thing can move up and down like this, and it uses a notch latch system. And if you want to go down, you just push it down like that. And it can also move forward and back. The way it works is that whenever you push forward, you're gonna hear a click, and you can kind of click it all the way. And if you want to bring it back, you gotta go all the way forward and then pull it back like this. It can also swivel like this as well. And you can see why it's annoying, because when you're actually in the chair trying to adjust it, you have no idea what the heck is going. You just hear a bunch of clicks and you just kind of want it somewhere, but it doesn't really move precisely the way you want it. It's a little bit confusing. And also I've noticed that if you have it in towards you like this, it's actually pretty easy to actually push back in with just some head pressure. It also wobbles quite a bit here, and I don't personally mind that because I do like a headrest that can flex a little bit with you, but this amount of wobble, this material that's used just makes it feel really cheap. I think the maximum height I would recommend for this chair is around 6'2", and even that might be pushing it. Again, the lumbar, backrest, and headrest can all be adjusted upward for taller folks. The seat depth can come out as well, but the low seat height has me a little bit concerned here. And in terms of maximum weight, Hbada recommends a maximum weight limit of 330 pounds. The Hbada X7 is currently $1,234.05. It's kind of cute, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what's not cute is the warranty. Hbada offers a 3-year warranty on this chair, and for a chair at this price point, it's actually quite subpar because a lot of the major brands like Herman Miller, Hayward, Steelcase, they're offering a 12-year warranty on their chairs, but the real reason why I have concerns about this warranty on this chair is because this motorized lumbar support, it is a critical function of this chair. You need that motor in order to control this lumbar support in the way that you want it, and if that motor breaks after 3 years, then you are going to be left without any ability to adjust this lumbar support and possibly a dead chair depending on its last position. Would you want to see any of these features on your chair? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, stay honest.